failing so hard already. All right, it is 6:03 and I will now call this meeting of the North Lakes Academy School Board to order. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, thank you, Member Ogard.
Second.
Anna is a second. All right. And then we do all these through roll call vote. So give me your yay or nay. Member Rapp,
Yay.
Member Ogard,
Yay.
Member Anderson,
Yay.
Member Borgwart,
Yay.
Member Delvelar,
Yay.
Member Schlosser,
Yay.
and I think that's everybody. Did I forget anybody? All right, carries. Oh, member Hanson.
Aye.
All right, I'm gonna just like have a list of you in front of you. Pause 1 minute. I have to send Tom the link to the meeting.
So Andrew, what sporting event are you sitting at right now?
Baseball.
Awesome. Good night for baseball.
Okay. Oh yeah, I have to take attendance. You'd think that I wasn't a teacher who didn't have to do that every day. Tom's on his way in, so we'll do a roll call attendance when he gets here. It's taking longer than I thought. All right, let's just keep going and he'll get here. Here he is. All right, so let's take attendance. When I call your name, indicate that you are present. Member Hanson,
I'm here.
Member Borgwart,
Present.
Member Schlosser,
Here.
Member Delvelar,
I'm here.
Member Rapp,
Present.
Member Ogard,
Here.
Member Anderson,
Here.
Member Lutz.
Hi.
Hi. All right, that is all of us. All right, next next item on the agenda is approval of last month's minutes. So we didn't have any, I didn't receive any corrections on those minutes, so it should pretty much be as it was sent to you. Can I get a motion to approve last month's minutes?
I make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
Thank you, Member Schlosser. And a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Member Delvelar. All right, let's vote on it. Member Rapp,
Yay.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Schlosser,
Aye.
Member Delvelar,
Aye.
Member Lutz,
Aye.
Member Ogard,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Borgwart.
Aye.
All right. That passes. Okay, next item on the agenda is community comment. Does anyone, we have one visitor. Mr. Chris Stewart, if you would like to make a community comment at this time, you are welcome to do so. All right. Moving on to financial business. The first order of business is the Finance Committee report. Finance Committee, Josh, I just threw you under the bus with this one to do that, if that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
We didn't have too much to talk about. See, I'm pulling up the notes here. So just noticed that a lot of the entries in the check register were from people that we don't normally see coming from NLA, but they were just umpires for baseball and softball since that's in full swing. We also received a statement from First Resource Bank stating that our PPP loans will be forgiven. So that's good news. And we are currently on track as well in the cash flow chart to kind of end up where we thought we were going to. So it was a pretty short and uneventful meeting this month.
All right. Questions for the Finance Committee? All right. And the next item on the agenda is we have to authorize the, oh, do we have to approve?
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Finance Committee
Thank you.
report with its associated documents.
Thank you, Member Rapp. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you, Member Schlesser. All right, let's vote on
Just
it.
because I want to make Rap spell out my name a bunch of times.
All right. Member Delalar, how do you
Aye.
vote?
Aye.
Member Ogard,
Aye.
Member Schlesser,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Lutz,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Borgwart,
Aye.
Member Rapp.
Aye.
All right, that passes. You got all that, Jeff? You going, am I going too fast or, all right. All right, so this next item on the agenda is to approve the auditor selection and bid process. So Mr. Stotler, I believe that you can speak, you're speaking to that.
Actually, I might default to Jan on this,
All right,
with where we're at in this process, or where we need to be more so. What do you know about this, Jan?
I reached out to you and you said it was taken care of, so I don't know much other than
Oh,
that.
okay, all right. Well, no,
I can go back and look in my records and see when we did a 5-year. I think we voted to have 5 years with Clifton Larson Allen. Not sure if that's up or not.
okay.
But
Well, I know at that where we'd like to be is we'd like to use Clifton Larson Allen at least one more year with all the changes happening with Jan's role and bringing in Tag. We just feel it'd be best to keep that consistent. And then we can get an update on where the 5 years are at, or whether if we're at the end of it or not. But so I would advocate for at least one more year with Clifton Larson Allen, if not more, based on what the 5 years might be.
I think that's really smart because Tag will be doing the audit.
Right.
And so having Clifton Larson Allen having a pretty good idea of what we've done in the past, it would be a lot smoother than trying to break in another audit company.
Yeah, and I know that Tag's in agreement with that as well.
All right. So for those of you who are new to this, what are we voting on? Cam?
Well, so we in the past, usually, I think it is 5 years. I think you're right, Jan. We do a 5-year contract with, and it has been Clifton Larson Allen ever since I've been with NLA, that has done our audit. Really at this point, we're authorizing Clifton Larson Allen to at least do this upcoming year's audit, but we need to check and make sure where we're at in that 5-year cycle with their contract, whether they already have, they might already have a year or two still left on it. But if not, I would authorize at least one more year with Clifton Larson Allen before we would seek a bid.
Okay. Let's see. So we need to know where we are in that contract with them, or should we just approve it?
Yeah, I would say let's authorize at least one more year, if not more, based upon the current contract we have with them.
I'm guessing this would be the last year, if not already over.
Okay.
So next year you can seek bids for
Right.
other auditors, depending on what TAG wants to do as well. But at
All
least
right.
authorize this year so they can give us
Right.
All
get
right.
us on their schedule.
Cool. Then I would entertain a motion to authorize Clifton Larson Allen for 1 year at least.
I will make a motion to authorize Clifton Larson Allen as our auditor for the next year.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Member Borgart, thank you. Any discussion? All right. Let's put it to a vote. Member Rapp,
Aye.
Member Ogard,
Aye.
Member Borgwart,
Aye.
Member Delvelar,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Schlesser,
Aye.
Member Lutz.
Aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to academic business, we have well, I guess I had them mixed. Usually we do K-8 first and upper school. Do you have a preference, Jamie and Andrew, which order you want to go in? All right, let's, pardon?
I'm happy to go first.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So enrollment sitting at 387 is actually up 4 from last month. So we saw a couple families from out of state come in and kind of enroll early, really. They were looking at us for next year, but we started with them this year. So that's great. We've currently accepted 98 new students for school year 21-22, with 39 of them being kindergarten. So applications are really, they continue to trickle in for next year. We don't necessarily have huge numbers to report on any given day, but they are trickling in. One new thing we've done this year, more than we've done in the past, is try to track attrition families who won't be returning. We did add a number of students who were out of the Forest Lake boundary and were interested in our plan to be in person as much as possible. And we may lose some of those families, we may not, but we are tracking likely drops now in our application system. So that's where we stand for next year. Academics, really there's just a few test events left for MCA testing. We'll also do FAST and NWEA as our 3 times a year for most of our students to track growth. And we did have a few discipline incidents in this last month, which is luckily, fortunately, out of the ordinary from this year, but kind of an outlier. Financials and building, Gray shell spaces are being cleared so construction can start. They may be on campus as early as Friday. They're going to start bringing materials in as well. So that'll be underway shortly. We are looking at hiring employee again in custodial services in lieu of a third-party provider. Maybe try to provide a little more value in the position and a little more ownership in the quality of cleaning and the upkeep of the building, given that it is new and we need to be taking care of the property as best we can. Then looking at ownership, we had a family interest evening and a meet the teacher night for those new students. And I think we had probably somewhere around 40% of those students show up on that night, maybe a little bit less. But nonetheless, it was a good way to get those new families in the door and firm up that commitment to have them join North Lakes. And we did get a few applications out of that evening as well for prospective families. A few small Facebook marketing campaigns going on. Around the school, we have students attending clubs in this fourth session, again, being very well attended, kind of a hit, a real big hit this session. And then our sixth graders have partnered with the Forest Lake Lions to plant some trees. And then we've got some social emotional news there if you want to read those in depth. The one photo is of life jars where students are learning to put first things first. So put your big rocks in first and then fill around it with everything else. So it's the K-8 building. Any questions?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brandt. Ms. Goulet, the upper school building report.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. We're at about 179 students. That's a loss of 1 from last month. I don't know if Andrew included in the 90, the 20 upper school students that have applied for NLA for next year. I'm doing daily phone calls as well as emails with families that are seeking interest. A lot of them are coming from the Hugo and White Bear Lake area right now, which is positive since it's not that far down the street from us. So that's good as far as we're trying to possibly grab families from in regards to locations. Our academics, we've had 3 behavior breaks, which were very minor. Our MCA and MAP testing was complete as of this past Friday, May 14th. We'll compile that data and share that later. And thank you to Mr. Ogard for being the data and testing coordinator at the upper school to make sure that went through. Our AP testing schedule is coming upon us here. Next week is the start of the first one, and then we have 4 more after that. And we have about 70 some tests that will be taken by about 50 students. So there are a lot of students that are taking multiple tests, which is positive. It's the most that we've ever had for AP testing in any one year. So that is something that is great to see as far as growth in our academics. Our financials, obviously, Cam will talk more about the financing bid as far as what happened here this past Wednesday. All moving was completed by Friday, May 14th, and we are closing this week with some stuff to start on Friday with the construction people. So very exciting, and it's let's begin that remodel. Ownership, we met the goal for Donors Choose, which was a campaign to purchase 6 microscopes for the upper school science department. That was met by various patrons throughout the United States that gave on behalf of science, and they have already delivered to us and they are in our possession, which is really exciting for the science department so that they have these materials to use for next year. May 7th was super fun. That was our Better Make Room signing day for seniors, as well as an all schools assembly that allowed us to kind of celebrate what is happening in the school as far as the remodel. We gave some Husky gear away. We discussed DLO expectations and the schedule and attendance. The teachers received a nice standing ovation from the students for Teacher Appreciation Week, which was really awesome to see. And then we displayed the blueprints so that the students could see exactly what the new building is going to look like. And then we actually had the students sign on different walls their names to kind of be part of the tradition of before the building starts to come down. And then we danced our students out of the gym like we always do. So it was a really fun day, a really fun afternoon to really commemorate the fact that, yes, school is still happening, but being our last day of in-person, we wanted to celebrate them being with us and having that opportunity to recognize our seniors. May 15th, this past Saturday, was prom. We had quite a few chaperones that we appreciate that are all from the high school and then one from the elementary. But our student counselor, Mr. Stewart, as well as two parent volunteers, really put together a phenomenal prom from what I've heard. I was at baseball field with my son for 13 hours, so I was not able to get to the prom, but from what they said, it was very fun, well organized, and the students enjoyed themselves just being with each other and being able to have that type of an event since they haven't had one in a while. June 8th is graduation at the Maranatha parking lot. It's an outdoor ceremony. You are all welcome to be there, and we invite you all to be there as part of that great ceremony. And then we have been doing ongoing Facebook posts of the seniors. Every day there's a new senior on Facebook, just giving them the shout out. And then as we start to get into the remodel process, I already posted a couple of pics of empty rooms and things like that, just to kind of get everybody more in tune to what the process of the remodel is and to get everybody excited. Social and emotional, we did Teacher Appreciation Week, May 3rd through the 7th. We had a bunch of Facebook shout outs, breakfast, cupcakes, M&Ms, and then, like I said, the standing ovation, which I don't think the teachers knew that was coming, and it was pretty cool to actually witness. And then we started distance learning for 9th through 12th this last Tuesday, May 11th. And it was a good transition into first week because we had 90% attendance rate. So that means the students are showing up, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and we hopefully will hold that as we continue to June 10th. That is the high school or the upper school board report. Is there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Boulay. All right, so moving on to operational business, executive director report. Mr. Stotler, you're up.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So it's been a pretty boring last couple of weeks. Not much happening. No, so obviously we're not able to go into details during this meeting until the closing happens of the bonds, but suffice it to say that through months of discussion at the board level, going into the deal, I know that we are all hoping for a percentage that hopefully was below 5%, and I can say that we did much better than that. So we had a really successful last Wednesday, which felt weird because that's outside our norm when it's come to big projects like this. So that was some just really, really good news to hear. Everything is tracking for the closing on Thursday. There's 1 million documents going back and forth, and we did not know this actually until earlier today that the closing is being done virtually. We were wondering why we're signing so many pre-closing documents, but that's because it's all virtual. We're not meeting somewhere to sign a bunch of pages. So it just takes a lot of Chelsea and Mike Higgins as the president of the ABC board. It takes a lot of their signatures and some notaries and stuff like that. But we'll get it taken care of, and we'll have the closing on Thursday, and then we can publicly announce the deal that we received. So based off that, now that we know what that percentage rate is and how that's going to affect the school going forward, that's going to allow us to start honing in on next year's budget. So that will be the next really big project for me to focus on. With TAG is going to do this next year's budget, and Jan is going to I don't know. Jan's gonna sit by the side and watch this. I'm not sure what her emotions are with that, but she's earned it for sure. So we'll do that. And so as the board, you should get an update from me relatively soon on where we're at with that. And I'm gonna do my best to give you some bullet point features of what the budget is shaping out to be. Both Jamie and Andrew spoke about enrollment, and we're not at our projection level yet for next year. So that may play a factor in what we set our budget at going into next year. And then based off that, obviously, the biggest factor is always staff raises and salary, and then considerations towards insurance and benefits and things like that. So the board should be receiving more information on that relatively soon. That's the next big thing coming our way. As both Andrew and Jamie have alluded to, a lot of time's been spent lately just moving things around and getting the upper school prepared for the remodel. Last week was a lot of sweat equity put into the building, and we're there, we're ready, we delivered like we said we would. So they will be walking in on Friday and beginning that process. And then similarly at K8, we had a gray shell area that we just kind of stuffed a bunch of stuff into at the beginning of the year, especially with COVID. And we had to clean that out as well. And they're going to be on site on Friday, starting to lay down markings for sheetrock, I would assume, for framing. So it's happening, and we're on our way here. One thing to point out, I think it's Wednesday, is a blood drive at the K8 building. The first time it's being held at K8. So if any of you are available to come donate, you're welcome to do so there. Yeah, it's mid-May. We're burnt. No doubt about that. The staff is they're slogging through, and it's a tough ask. They're doing a great job, but we're at the end of the year. We're ready for that deep breath. So all the credit goes to them, and we'll keep going. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Cam?
Yeah.
TAG, you've mentioned a number of times. Is that the Anton Group? Is that who we're
Correct.
talking about? Thank you.
Yep. The Anton Group, headed by Mike Pokernich. But I believe that the school's main contact is actually going to be Bridget Peterson. I've been led to believe that she is going to be our kind of main source from TAG, and she has some extensive experience at Mounds View schools as a finance, I don't know if she's a director, what her official title was, but she was pretty high up in the Mounds View district for their financial compliance and acumen. So we'll probably be seeing her attend the board meetings, is my guess, coming forward.
Great.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Stotler. Next item on the agenda is the Minnesota State High School League annual membership renewal. So pull that up here. This is, well, I think it was Jeff was going to present on this. Cam, are you taking this one too?
I guess I can. I know Jeff was going to ask some questions. I don't know if he got answers to those or not, but we had briefly spoken earlier in the day. So this is the high school league has the school approve the membership, which really it's kind of a no-brainer in the sense that it protects our students and coaches in case of any sort of catastrophic injury. It's an umbrella policy that goes along with the approval, and then it allows our teams to compete at the high school level in a high school conference, compete for state tournaments, and so on. It's something that we've been a part of, again, for as long as I've been associated with North Lakes and beyond. The big change in this, and this is the part that I don't quite have the answer to, is because of COVID last year, we know that the high school league put forward initially some pretty astronomical fees to cover their losses and push that forward to the schools. My belief since that first came out in October was that they've pulled back a little bit on that and how that affected the school and schools around us, but I don't have kind of what the final tally was on that. I'd have to defer to Mr. Beimert. Maybe Jamie knows, just in talks with Jeff, I'm not sure, but I know that was a talking point in the fall.
Okay.
I would defer to Mr. Beimert.
Okay. So essentially, I mean, we have to approve it so our kids can compete, right? I mean,
this is one of those, kind of a no-brainer, and whatever the fee is based on that, just know that we're not being hit any more or less than any other school of the same size. It's based on the number of students that the school has. So
Okay.
All
right.
that's what I know about it. I don't know if you guys heard, my daughter just walked in with no pants on. So that was a brief moment where I had to, if you saw me do this,
We
I saved us
understand
all.
if the video suddenly disappears. We understand. All right. So let's, does anyone have any, well, let's get a motion on the table, and then if you want to discuss it, folks, we can do that. I would entertain a motion to approve. What am I approving here? My agenda just went away.
How about if I help you here? Madam
Thank
Chairman,
you.
may I make a motion to renew North Lakes Academy's membership in the Minnesota State High School League for the 21-22 school year?
Thank you, Mr. Rapp. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is that Scott?
No, it's Josh.
Josh? I'm failing all over the place, you guys.
It's Tom.
Oh man, I missed it. All right.
All right.
I had
Thank you,
lights
Mr.
pointing
Lutz.
everywhere.
Discussion.
I guess my question is this a Googleable amount to know exactly like how much the hike is?
It's in, well, I mean, regardless of whether there's nothing we can do about it as a board.
Right, yeah, just
I
as a reference
believe
point.
it may be in our minutes.
And if
From
it is
October.
a considerable hike, are we planning on increasing activities fees due to that?
That would be that was a discussion point we had in the fall. That was one of the biggest arguments that the schools had, or grievances the schools had, was the high school league didn't put this forward until so late in the summer and so late in the year that all the schools had already passed their budget and thus weren't able to, raise fees accordingly to maybe cover that cost. And so, yeah, going on, it may make sense that fees might go up as a result. So yeah, that's a valid question to ask.
Other questions? All right. Well, let's take a vote. Motion's on the table. Member Ogard,
Aye.
Member Lutz,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Schlesser,
Aye.
Member Delvelar,
Aye.
Member Rapp,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Borgwart.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right, next up, we have approval of policies without changes. So this is the 200 series policies. You'll find them in the agenda packet. Well, maybe not. They were earlier. Well, they'll be there in a minute. All right, should be there now. Apologies for that. All right, so you have, I believe we just approve all these policies as one, right? All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the 200 level policies as a full group without changes.
I will make a motion to approve the 200 series policies as a whole without changes.
Thank you, Member Ogard. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, Member Schlosser. All right, let's bring it to a vote. Member Borgwart,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Aye.
Member Rapp,
Aye.
Member Delvelar,
Aye.
Member Schlesser,
I
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Lutz,
I'll abstain for the moment because I don't know where the hell I'm looking for these policies.
okay, so if you go, I'll send you the link to the board packet. Here. All right, and
I've got the board packet up. Where is it
Right.
labeled as policy?
They're under operational.
you see him, Tom?
Do you want me to change my vote?
No, that's fine. All right, and let's see, Member Ogard.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. The next thing is the first read of the electronic signature policy. Let's see, Cam, do you want to explain a little bit about what the need for this is?
Yeah, so this is a somewhat of a model policy being put forward by more and more schools. We attained our model from Indigo Education. This is a policy that allows us to use and kind of assign electronic signatures for the school's gain or the school's authority. A lot of this comes into play with contracts and items related to special education. That's why this came forward from the special education side. Corey Ryan, our SPED director, noted that it should be good for the school to have. So it allows us to state our policy behind electronic signatures, who's allowed to represent the school and in what ways. So that's what this policy is designed to do.
All right. So this is just the first read of the policy. We're gonna, second read will be next month. That's when we vote on this, but in the meantime, if you have any questions about this, you can reach out to the policy committee or look the policy over. You have any suggestions, you see areas that we've missed, please reach out to any one of us via email. That's policy committee is myself, Pam, Scott, and Chris Stewart, I believe, and Jamie. Yes. Questions
Send them to
right now?
Send them to Jamie.
All right. So we'll bring it back next month. The next order of business is the second read of policy 317, which is Title IX. And we brought this back because some of the language from the policy was outdated, if I remember correctly. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah, so this policy was essentially almost entirely revamped. Federal legislation changed in August, somewhat substantially for schools. And so as North Lakes, frankly, we waited for another school to develop a model policy and then we took theirs. So this is stemming from Minnetonka's policy 9. And this just outlines the roles played and the procedures for any sort of Title IX complaint or grievance. It's somewhat extensive, it's 17 pages. So this would be one that might be worth a scan at the least. And hopefully that's happened in last month. I know there was one comment about one facet of the policy. I don't remember who received. I think maybe it's Chelsea. You received that response, didn't you?
I forwarded you
Why
that
not?
response.
Wasn't there a-
Yes. Yep.
There was a concern about essentially that the complaints right now go to the Title IX. It's the word Title IX coordinator, which right now is me for North Lakes. And so it was what if the complaint is about me or whoever the Title IX coordinator may be? What do we do about that? And that's just a situation right now that since the school doesn't have a human resource department or a human resource director, it's just kind of going to be an issue that we'll have to work through. Hopefully we'll never have to work through it, but it's a potential issue in the policy that we would have to work through if that were the case, that a complaint were brought forward to the Title IX coordinator, whoever that may be. And currently that's me. So the policy otherwise covers everything that has to do with Title IX. So are there other questions?
There are, but I think perhaps we should have a motion.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So motion to approve the title policy 317, or I would entertain a motion to approve policy 317 with changes.
I make a motion to approve 317 with changes.
Okay. Is there a second?
A second.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Discussion.
May I go?
Sure.
As the one who brought forth the question or concern regarding this, I'm trying to find the page number on the actual document. It is on page 4. The challenge that I find here is where our number 3 decision maker under the definitions means a person who makes a determination regarding the responsibility after the investigation is concluded. And then it says the decision maker cannot be the same person as the Title IX coordinator or as the investigator or as the appellate decision maker. We have a number of individuals here that are listed by title, but I wonder just how that works in our case, or is that all one person and that would, we either need to change our policy, we need to do something different here. How do we see that working out? That's I'll put it in the form of a question. How do we deal with what number 3 in those definitions says?
Yeah, I agree. That's a very good point.
Trying to wrap your question around my head a little bit. Are you asking how do we assign these roles?
And who would be assigned those roles? Are we talking about legal counsel here as the decision maker? Are we, who are these people in our case? We've already designated you, the executive director, as the Title IX coordinator, but who gets to be the decision maker, the appellate decision maker, the investigator? Who takes on those roles?
Yep. So my belief with this is that the coordinator would assign those roles as needed. I think some of it depends on the complaint itself, whether the complaint merits all those roles needing to be assigned or not. We have used legal counsel in the past in this type of situation, and frankly, it'd be, again, depending on the merit of the complaint or severity of the complaint, would be a likely scenario to do again. But that's how I would interpret that. But I'm I'm open to further discussion on that. This is, you should know, this is brand new. This is, all schools are kind of asking these same questions and filtering through this process. So please don't feel like we shouldn't do the same.
So I'm just wondering, at what point do we have plans to move towards some kind of human resources person? I think that would be like to have one, like to have a separate party who's kind of a third party making these decisions. I don't like that the Title IX coordinator and the executive director are the same person. That's just not good practice to me. So what are our possibilities here? Can we hire human resources? Or can we examine what that would take?
Yeah, so that's something we could look into. As with anything, when you're looking to add a role, it's going to come at a cost. I don't know what that would be or what that would look like. That was something that we had considered as we were looking at financial services as well, and it wasn't really something that was strongly considered as we looked for the financial piece, because usually the people who do the financial side either don't do the human resource side at all, or they don't do it very well. So it is something to compare. What I'd like to do, and if you want to table this, I understand that too. Maybe ask some questions about some local charters around here and see what they're doing and how they're handling as well, and what they have for a human resource side. I think it's a fair question, and it would serve us well in a couple areas for sure. But it's also, it feels like it's an area that I guess I don't know how to use it, or say this, that we wouldn't use all that often, but when we would want to use it, it would certainly be important to use, right? So I don't know how to get something like that in play that serves the school well.
All right, Member Lutz, you had your hand.
Yeah, somewhat to what Cam was saying, like, if you don't want to spend money on it, right, to get external people, like, you'd have to get internal people, which would mean, you'd have to try to get people trained up in order to do these jobs competently within the school, which I'm not sure that that's a really great option. But again, somewhat to what Cam was mentioning, to try to talk with the other charter schools, maybe try to see if there is even like a consortium sort of thing, like, I don't know. This is definitely the limit of what I know as far as like HR departments, but it's like, can multiple schools collaborate for human resources?
Yeah.
I was thinking something on the same lines, because it seems to me when you read that policy, my understanding is you have to have all of those roles assigned for any complaint that goes to investigation. You have to have separate individuals filling those roles. So it seems like that almost takes you to where you have to have somebody from the outside, because we don't have that many people in any sort of administrative position in the organization.
Right. Okay. Other thoughts?
I guess I would say maybe it sounds like maybe this would be best if we table this, perhaps, or hold on a vote.
How many people are on our personnel committee?
Personnel committee is currently, I don't think they're only formed when we need them, I believe. I looked for information on that today and I couldn't find it in policy. The personnel committee, because it's come up before with stuff. And it's like
I think we're right. We should probably table it, but number 5 does seem to give some latitude to identifying people who would be in these roles. But we should.
All right, so let's see. Somebody help me out here when I table, so do we have to take a vote to table, or is anyone feeling?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we have a motion on the table.
Okay, so we'll take.
So we'll have to vote on approving this as is.
Okay.
So actually, I think a privileged motion would be a motion to table. I believe it's a privileged motion. I do not, because I'm not at school, do not have my cheat sheet with me. Mr. Lutz, can you help me out on this? I think I have a privileged motion that will override the motion to do this. The problem we run into by voting it down is it'll be difficult to come back to it again. And so I believe we're allowed to have a privileged motion to table this.
Okay, so I just make.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay, so yeah, if you wanted to privilege it, you could supersede the motion on table, or on the flip side, you could just remove the motion, withdraw the motion.
Exactly. I think those are the options at this point. Thank you, Mr. Lutz.
All right. Let's. Do we vote to withdraw, or do I just do that? I'm still learning what my
sorry.
power is.
The person who made the motion can withdraw it.
Yep.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I will withdraw my motion to approve that policy 317.
Okay, motion is withdrawn.
Good. It also, Madam Chairman, it also requires Ms. Hanson to also, as the second, she was the seconder on that, so
Okay.
she needs to also withdraw.
I will withdraw my second on that motion.
All right. Thank you for your help, Mr. Rapp. I got through the first couple of chapters of Robert's rules, but you know, it's May, as was stated earlier this meeting.
Great cure for insomnia.
I'm just happy I made Rap type my name like 3 times for nothing.
Not counting over here. All right, so
I'm
what
just typing member S.
Oh, that's probably smart. That's a lot better than what I'm called at home.
So then going forward, as a board, do we want to see HR possibilities explored? Is that something that we can ask admin to explore and report back to us before we bring this back for a vote?
Or would it be the policy committee or someone else who looks at what other schools are doing in terms of filling those roles, which is the more,
I think it would be admin who would look into that. Policy committee, we draft the policies and things like that.
Yeah.
Admin kind of does information gathering and talks to other.
I'll reach out to see. I'll check with Osprey Wilds. I'll check with AFSA, Da Vinci, see what's out there. So, and I'm on the policy committee, so kind of one and the same.
All right, and then we'll bring that back at a later meeting with your findings. All right, moving on.
Do we need to make a motion to table it?
Do we? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
It just died.
it was withdrawn. Yeah, it was
Yeah, it was
withdrawn.
withdrawn, so it's
Yeah, I think we're good. It was just both people who made motions or seconded took it away, so. I'm having like debate judging flashbacks right now. Let's see, next on the agenda is environmental business. There is none. And then moving on to other business. That is, first is the Minnesota Association of Charter Schools membership consideration. We keep tabling this thing. And essentially, I believe it was just on the, bringing it back to whether we want to actually pursue this or not. If the I don't know, benefits are worth the cost, I suppose. One thing I did look into was the board training that we typically do through Max, or we have done in the past through Max, whether they were going to offer it again. Members get a discount on that. However, Osprey Wilds is doing board training again, so that financial incentive wouldn't be there to do this. So that is kind of the next item of, conversation. What are your thoughts on the Max membership?
What has the conversation been up to this point?
Let's table it and talk about it later.
Well,
Yeah, I guess, Cam,
it's
what are
been
your what is it? What is administration? What is your opinion on like the benefits or not of spending this money?
Yeah, I'll try to give a little bit of background too. We were a member of Max for a number of years. I don't remember if it was like 5, 6, or 7. It was somewhere in there during my time at NLA. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, we decided not to be a member any longer. We felt that the cost that we were paying, it was somewhere around, I think, $7,000 or so. Well, it could be better spent by the school, and we were kind of tight with budget, and we just made that decision to no longer become a member. At that time, we were using them for relicensure, and then we started our own relicensure committee within the school. And so that kind of took away the biggest pro that Max had at that time. So the long running debate has been, should a school support a group that is advocating on behalf of charter schools, which Max, that's kind of their mission, or is the cost outweighed by the advocacy that as where we are and what North Lake sees end up being benefited by. And I'll say this, I've had this discussion with Leela, I've had it with AFSA, with Osprey Wilds as a whole, and we're in a very similar boat with a lot of schools right now that are really questioning what type of advocacy Max is doing on behalf of charters, and thus how it's benefiting a school like North Lakes or a school like Leela and AFSA. So that's kind of been the back and forth on it, is what's our role in this as a charter school? So the advocacy piece versus the benefit that the school takes. I will say for me, I'm on the fence. This is where I truly, if we feel like we should support an advocacy group, I have no problem doing that. But I also have no problem if we want to stay with what we've been doing the last few years. So I don't have a strong opinion either way.
What is the annual? Can you give the annual or the fee offhand?
I think it's just north of 7,000.
All right. Well, this. What do you think? I'm not getting a lot of passionate, we should or shouldn't do this.
I think, I mean, the main reason, as Cam said, we were a part of this in the beginning was the relicensure part of it. And if we have our own committee that's willing to put that time and energy into it, I know they're an advocate of charter schools, but it just seems like putting $7,000+ into something that we're not going to get a lot out of.
Is there like an easy way to get like a definitive list of what you get as a member? Is that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Literally for $7,000, all we would get is that they supposedly speak on our behalf or something. I don't.
Just connect you to a network of other charter schools.
Yeah,
I found the dues. It's actually a reduction this year to 6,995.
So it's under $7,000 now.
Yep. I'm trying to find kind of the brochure that they always send out with this. Here's one. So even though this is from 2016-17, it'll serve the same purpose. I'll drop it in the board packet.
I'm finding some information on the Max website as far as they've got a page for association policy positions. I don't know if that's something that's useful to share out. I also don't know, should I just drop that link in the chat or do I need to put it in the folder or what?
let's see.
Oh, sorry, I dropped an operational accidentally, but that's right. It'll refresh when you go there.
Okay.
In the operational folder, max membership dues. You scroll down to page 2. It shows you what they provide.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, are there things in the legislature right now that we should be, what are they advocating for? Is it, you mentioned briefly that it's not necessarily applicable or beneficial, the work that they're doing to us?
I would characterize their focus, at least the last few years, more towards issues that are arising that are not in areas where North Lakes is. It seems to be a little more focused towards inner city type issues that are presented. I know they've had a lot of advocacy behind a lawsuit involving segregation in charter schools, potential segregation. The Cruz something lawsuit, I forget the name of it, but that's been ongoing for a while. I would say the last few years, I haven't seen them advocating for policies or issues that would directly impact North Lakes, or at least not substantially directly impact North Lakes.
So,
What about the second category? It says human resources and leadership support. Would that be something related to this? Wow.
Not necessarily. It's the way that we had used it in the past. They tended to first turn us to our authorizer to check. They'd say, have you spoken with Audubon at the time about this? They're going to have a better sense because they know us better. You know, I thought they'd be so useful in putting up model policies, and they haven't done that either. So it has, and then job posting, we actually can do it. Anytime you post on EdPost, it goes to max anyway. So.
all right. So thoughts, folks? I mean, it's a yearly thing, right? We can jump back on this at any time, or
Does it have a deadline? Like you have to join by a certain day?
So not necessarily, and frankly, they've been pitching it out more often because more and more schools have been dropping. So I'm sure if we said, hey, we'd like to join, they would prorate whatever. I think they go July 1 through June 30th, just like we do with our budget. I'm sure they would prorate membership and allow us to join whenever. And I think this came up again this month just because it was on the board task calendar.
Yeah.
And so at some point, this was a discussion that we put on there. But
Right.
this has to be like the third time we've discussed this in the last calendar year.
so should
Can we,
not
can we,
again not getting a, oh, go ahead, Josh.
can we table this till we feel we need to bring it up? So that it's not coming up every month?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good month to discuss it because the next step would be budget planning and you'd be knowing that, okay, we're going to add this $7,000 in or not. So I would advocate for whatever decisions made right now that we try and make this decision every May. That would make sense.
Okay. So if we table it, we'd be tabling it till next May.
Or actually passing the budget.
Yeah.
I would maybe suggest like entertain a motion, and if someone makes one, great. If not,
all right.
then
I would entertain a motion to table or a motion to approve.
I would say I'd entertain a motion to go through with it.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve max membership.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we'll bring it to a vote. Member Rapp,
Nay.
Member Ogard,
Nay.
Member Borgwart,
Nay.
Member Lutz,
Aye.
Member Anderson,
Sorry, mute problems. Nay.
Member Hanson,
Nay.
Member Schlesser,
Nay.
Member Delvelar.
Nay.
All right, motion fails. The next thing on the agenda, so we'll, I don't know, we'll revisit that at some date in the future and see if it makes more sense for us then. The board scholarship vote and presentation. So we had 2 applicants, and this is a vote that's done private ballot. So you have in the packet.
Can I give a little background on this, Chelsea?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go
no, that's why, again, there's just a number of new members. So a few years back, the NLA board wanted to fund a scholarship for a student going on to college. And so a group of us sat down and put forth some parameters for that scholarship. A couple of which are, there's a GPA threshold, I believe is 3.3, that a student needs to meet. The students need to have attended at the time, and this may be something we need to amend. At the time, the student need to have attended both campuses, both a middle school and upper school student, in order to be considered. And then they had to fill out the scholarship application through the Forest Lake Area Community Scholarship Foundation. And the scholarship itself is meant to be awarded to a student who exemplifies leadership within the school and leadership aspects throughout the school. Whereas the Husky of the Year scholarship is meant to exemplify the student who best personifies NLA and being an NLA Husky and what growth may have been made. You know, so there is a distinction between the 2 scholarships. This is a $1,000 one-time scholarship, so it's not renewable. It's $1,000 for one time for the individual. And I believe we're going on our 5th year of the scholarship. So that is what this is. At the beginning of each school year, I will make asks of board members for, it's been a $50 consideration towards funding this scholarship. So just know that that'll come your way in the fall. You're always welcome to give, but I'll ask in the fall. And so with that, we're down to 2 candidates who have fulfilled the requirements of the scholarship.
All right. So both of those, they each made a video this year. I believe in past years, they actually, did they attend? Or was it always a video?
I think it's always been video. That was the other aspect. I'm sorry, I forgot. They had to attend an NLA board meeting during their time as a student. That was the other consideration to be considered. But they've always made a video to present to the board, and it's had to be within 3 minutes.
So those 2, the 2 that that checked all the boxes, I dropped that in the other business folder. And so the way this vote works is it's private ballot. We don't do a verbal vote. So if you would PM your choice to only me in the chat. So
So Chelsea, are you North Lakes Academy School Board?
Yep, that's me.
So are you the only choice for us to click on? Because I'm only seeing North Lakes Academy.
Yep, that's Chelsea.
That's me. Yep.
Yep, she's the only one that can receive a message.
Okay.
All right. And then Cam, I don't believe we don't announce it in the board meeting, right? Or do I?
Yep, you can. Oh, wait. No. No, you don't.
Okay.
I'll need to know so I can get it to the Scholarship Foundation.
Yeah, and we announce it since we do not usually at the Better Make Room event that we had on May 7th is where we would announce any scholarship winners. But since that they're not done in that timely fashion, we announce it at graduation.
Okay. All right. So I'll get it to you. Just counting votes here to make sure I have everybody. Everybody in? I think so. Ex officios, you do vote, right? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I think I have. Waiting on one.
Chelsea, I haven't watched the videos and I don't know the students, so I don't feel like I would want to vote. So thank you.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. That takes care of that agenda item. Now, the next thing we need to do is appoint members to new committees. So we have 3 committees that we have all the time, and then the board can create committees as it sees fit. We have an election committee that those of you who were just elected will serve on in the spring. And then we have, sometimes we have a personnel committee if a need arises for it. But the 3 that we staff all the time are policy and finance, and what's the third one I'm forgetting? Or is it just 2?
Executive director.
Yes, thank you. I'm on that one. I should know that. So what we need, the requirements for the committees are somewhere in my email. So we need Stu sent it to me. Yep, so the DEC, the Director Evaluation Committee, currently Hannah and myself, we have to have another teacher and a parent. So if there is a teacher board member and a parent board member who would be willing to sit on that committee, we meet, it's monthly, Cam?
Quarterly?
Is it quarterly? Okay.
Quarterly.
Finance is monthly, or policies monthly and finance is monthly. And then on finance, we currently have Jeff and Laura. So if there would be a few folks willing to join those 2 on the finance committee. Oh, Josh, you sat on as a non-board member, right?
Correct, and I'm currently still on it.
All right, well then that takes care of that. And then policy committee currently is myself and Scott, as well as Cam and Chris Stewart. So if you're interested in working on policies, that would be the place to go with that. So does anyone have any place that they would prefer to be?
I'm willing to do finance and the executive director.
Okay. All right, so that brings finance committee to 4 and DEC to 3. So we do need a parent on the DEC.
I can do that one.
All right, thank you, Jesse. All right. Sounds good. And so we have a teacher and a parent, and then we have, I think we have them covered. So we'll send out the meeting dates for those. I'll get you the information for next, I'll get you the information on when those happen. Policy is usually the 3rd Monday. It's also board meeting day. Yeah, I'll get you the meeting dates for those.
I think
Anytime.
policy is the week after board meeting, every 3 weeks, right? Or every 3 months, I think.
Yeah.
Unless we need to readdress a policy that's
Oh, maybe that's why I
question
feel like
point.
Yeah, we changed it this year to like 3 times a year and then as needed.
Okay, maybe that's why it's feeling like more, because there have been as needed things. Okay. All right. That agenda item is good. The statements of assurance. So I dropped in the other business. That's a PDF, NLA board statements to sign. I need all board members to read through those and sign them. That's the statement of assurance, oath of office deal. And then get those back to me so I can get them to Osprey Wilds. You could.
When would you like those by?
Well, ideally by the end of tonight, but if you don't have the ability to sign and print, let's say end of the week would be great. So Friday at 3:30.
So we just print all the pages, sign wherever we're supposed to sign and forward it to you, Chelsea.
Correct. Or if you
Like
want, if
in
you
our
can,
campus
if you
mail, or
can-
we call
yeah,
that.
yep. Or if you want to do it, if you can sign it digitally and you want to do it like edit PDF and sign that way, you can do that too.
Would you rather have an actual paper copy or a PDF?
I am indifferent either way, whatever's easier for you. All right, questions about that? All right, then the only thing that is left is the look forward to next month, except there's somebody in the chat. No, there's not. Which we will be past graduation. My task calendar is loading. So we'll have to authorize the wage agreements. There will be hopefully more information on board training. I contacted Erin with Osprey Wilds and she said that they were planning on doing it. And so I will get back to everybody as soon as she makes that available to me. We will be looking at the current budget and approving any revisions and approving a proposed new budget. And then Cam will give us his preliminary goals and potentially a report on map growth from the building leads. That being said, that's all I have. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, Member Ogard. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Who was that?
I think that was
We
Jess.
both,
Jesse was.
we both did.
Okay. Thank you, Member Anderson. I believe that was, I'll give that one to you. All right. Let's vote. Ogard,
Aye.
Lutz,
Aye.
Hanson,
Aye.
Schlesser,
I
Dalvilar,
Aye.
Rapp,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Borgward.
Aye.
All right, folks, you're out of here. Thank you for your patience. I'll get better, I promise.
Thank you. Yay,
Nice job.
Chelsea.
yeah, you did
Way to go.